again. I thought I would make one more video today because I'm on a bit of a roll. So as promised, I will read to you my second choice of the day, and this is a book about the wonderful musician David Bowie. One of my favourites, absolutely. This book is Little People, Big Dreams, and it's written by Ma Isabel Sanchez Vegara. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. Illustrated by Ana Albero. So, David Bowie, I'm sure that all of your grown-ups, parents, carers, adults looking after you, I'm sure they've all heard the name David Bowie. He was a wonderful musician. I say was because sadly he's passed away. He's no longer with us. But he brought a lot of joy to people across the world with his songs and music and performances. I have a lot of his vinyl in my collection. I listen to it often and it brings me a lot of happiness, and I grew up listening to his music. So David Bowie, a story about his life and how he came to be. So we shall start. Let's go. Oops. Hope you're snuggly buggly, get comfy cozy, and we shall begin. Little David lived with his family in a tiny house on an ordinary street in London. I used to live in London. But he had ideas that would take him out of this world. There he is. He sat on the wall. Here he is, this side. David. He's reading his book. And oh, who's this little creature sat next to him? It's an alien. Why is there an alien sat there? And he's reading a book about UFOs, which are alien spaceships, if you didn't know. So David actually was born in a place called Brixton in London, and I used to work in Brixton as a police officer. Can you believe that? I cannot believe it either. Next page. At school, he loved music and dance classes. He had a real talent for singing, and his dance moves were from another planet. His teachers had never seen anything like it before. There's his teacher and his classmates. And there's David. Woohoo! Look at those moves. He's busting some funky moves there. Funky monkey. David spent hours listening to his brother's rock and jazz records. David was so impressed and inspired by the power of music that he started to write his own songs. I can completely understand that. Music is very powerful. It brings a lot of happiness and joy. There's David laid on the floor there with all of his brother's vinyl. I do that sometimes. I get out my vinyl collection and play back-to-back records all day long. I thoroughly enjoy it. It makes me happy. David studied art, music and design at school. Sometimes his teachers were not sure if he was a boy or a girl. But David was just delighted to be himself. I think that's an important message there in the book. It's good to be different. It's good to be unique. It's good to be individual. So don't worry about what other people think. Just be yourself. There we go. He's painting a beautiful portrait there at art school. A man of many talents, David was. One day he got into a silly fight with his friend George, who punched him in the eye. That punch changed David's look forever and made him strangely magnetic. What can you see here? What can you notice about his eyes? He's got one blue eye and one brown eye. Makes him even more unique to look at. I think it's pretty cool. David and George remained friends and formed a group called the Conrads. The rest of the band were happy playing at weddings, but David wanted to become a star. And there's the band. And there's David on his saxophone. Woo! Go, David! Wow, look at these rock and rollers. He jumped from band to band looking for a chance, dreaming that one day all the lonely kids on planet Earth would sing his songs out loud. Look at these rock and rollers. All dressed up in their leather there. With their funky hairstyles. Love it. There's David walking along with his guitar. And look at this lady in her funky dress. You know what? I think this must be the swinging 60s because their outfits are very, very much like that era. Great era for music. Lots of fantastic bands and musicians came out at that time. David knew that a great singer needed to be a great performer too. He decided to mix his music with the most spectacular outfits and dance moves ever seen on stage. And there's David. He's putting on some makeup. And there's all his funky outfits, look. That looks a bit like my wardrobe. I have all my weird and wonderful dresses hanging up like that. Inspiration from David Bowie. David wrote a song about a lonely astronaut and it became his first big hit. The whole world listened to this song the day the man first ever walked on the moon. And there's David singing the song. I believe the song is called Starman. Starman waiting in the sky. Or something like that. Something along those lines. Next, David transformed into an alien rock star called Ziggy Stardust, the coolest space invader the world had ever seen. Dressed as Ziggy, he made it, finally, to superstardom. Woo! The crowd go wild! And look at those trousers! Oh, this side. Look at those pants, those funky trousers. Wowee, David, you're so funky. Funky monkey. I don't think many people could pull that off, but David certainly could. David wasn't sure where he was going from there, but he knew it would not be boring. He kept reinventing himself, and that's what made him David Bowie. And there's lots of pictures of his different styles across the years. He's changing all the time and evolving. This one is my favourite. This picture here is from a movie that David starred in the 80s, and this movie is called The Labyrinth. I used to watch it all the time when I was young, and I still watch it now, to be fair. It's a wonderful, magical, fantasy-filled movie with puppets and songs and weird and wonderful things going on. There's even a little puppet worm that says, "Come inside and meet the missus." It's brilliant. It's very weird, but very wonderful. You should definitely watch it at some point. The Labyrinth. Great movie. For more than 40 years, he kept exploring new galaxies. Filled with futuristic sounds, he inspired generations of fans to find their own voice and to dare to be different. That's it. Individuality. And by never being afraid to be himself, little David became the most unique star who ever fell to earth. There he is, as a little boy. Oh, his little alien friend, his #1 fan, watching his show. And that's the end. Did you like that story about David Bowie? I did. Certainly did. Wonderful musician. Ask your mums or dads or carers or family to play some songs, especially Starman. But there's lots of wonderful songs, so yes, have a little listen and enjoy. I hope you enjoyed this book. Yes, again, give me some feedback. Let me know if you enjoyed the story time. and maybe I will make a few more videos to help you through these times. I do have an Instagram page called Forever Young Creative Kids, so feel free to follow me on there and pop any comments in. Until then, take care of yourselves, be safe, be healthy, and be happy. Lots of love. Have a wonderful day.